Good morning, lovely souls. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I hope you're somewhere cosy if it's cold. Oh my goodness, our temperature's dropping a little bit. It's been really, really mild. And here's the thing, we haven't had any significant rain since the beginning of December, so it's about 6 weeks or so. And I think partly because I've not been having to do much work in the garden, I haven't been following the weather forecast, which is really weird because normally, and I'm sure you're all the same, I look at the weather forecast every day. I look for that day, I look for the week ahead, I look for 2 weeks ahead. I'm always, oh I've got a blimmin' itchy nose, it's because the cats are in. Yeah, I'm always looking ahead and sort of planning, like, is that a good day for the garden? Oh no, that's now looking a bit rotten, I'll move it, I'll swap that day with that day, what have you. But like I say, I've kind of taken my eye off the ball with looking at the weather forecast because it's been incredibly consistent for the last few weeks. Dry, mild, around sort of 7, 8, 9 degrees. Couple of frost nights, but I've got nothing in the garden that's going to worry about the frost, so I haven't even taken notice of that. Anyway, long story short, sorry, waffling on. Before coming to the garden this morning, I had to quickly nip out to run a couple of errands, and I thought, oh, it's a little bit chillier this morning, and there's a bit of a breeze, and it felt like it was getting stronger. So when I got back home, quickly before coming down here, I looked at the weather forecast. Yeah, we've got a little weather front moving in that's bringing some strong winds with it and, sod's law, isn't it, some rain. So I don't know how much time I'm going to get down here today, maybe only a couple of hours. You can't tell on the screen how poor the light is today, but it's really looking pretty dark out there. But never mind, it may be dark out there, but that's still more light than I'm getting indoors at home. So I'm looking forward to just having a couple of hours of getting stuck into a few bits and pieces. Nothing major out there. One of my jobs, my main job today, which will take a little while, is I've noticed beyond the allotment site and beyond one of the main roads, there's a little alley passageway, and it's full of, it looks like oak leaves. So I thought I'll go off with my wheelbarrow today and get some more leaves. Now, because I live in a flat on a main road, for my refuse collection I don't have a wheelie bin like everyone else does, so the council give me rubbish sacks, and I have a designated night and a designated spot to put them on the street for collection. But I don't really use them because I don't really put that much rubbish out. So I've got a load of those bags, I keep them in the shed just for as a sort of like an in case. So what I thought I'd do is, because this is away from the plot, I don't want to be coming backwards and forwards with just one wheelbarrow full and sort of flying everywhere, especially because now this wind is picking up. So I'm going to take a load of the bin bags with me, stuff them as much as I can with the leaves, pile them up on my wheelbarrow, get them back here into the compost bin to trim them in the bin. But I'm not going to like tie the bags up, so I need to rip them open. So once I've decanted the leaves into the compost bin, I'll just fold those bags up again and they'll be ready to use another day. So what else can we get up to in January? I know that by now we're all itching to get going. I know some of you will start things under grow lights and in heated propagators around about now, but for me, and you know, quite a lot of us in the UK, there's not going to be much going on by way of sowing, although I am going to sow something a little bit later. I'm going to leave that as my last job, so that if it does start chucking with rain, at least I can just come in the shed and do some sowing. So yeah, there's not really much to do by way of sowing, but it makes it a great time of year to think about maintenance and cleaning and tidying and all those things we put off. So if you find you're like me, you're in a situation where all your building work's done, all your beds are prepped, and there's nothing really much going on, you want to do something, think about dragging everything out of your shed and having a jolly good sort out and clean up. There's probably tons of stuff in the shed you've forgotten about. There's probably tons of stuff which is kind of like rubbish, but, oh, there goes Rusty. Was that nice, Rusty? Yeah, there's probably tons of stuff which may be rubbish to you, but may be useful to someone else. So if you've got a sharing table at your allotment site, offer your bits and pieces up to someone else. If you've got rubbish, see if you can repurpose it and reuse it. Have a jolly good clean. Go through all your pots and trays and, you know, just make sure everything's good and clean. You're not hoarding loads of broken stuff. I'm a bit nerdy, and at the end of the season, or once I empty pots, I do give everything a wash, but I stack them all by size, which I know it seems a bit nerdy, but believe me, when it comes to the madness of sowing, once we get into March and April and May, I'm always really pleased that I know exactly what size pots I've got. I can tell at a glance how many I've got and that's sufficient, what have you. If you've got propagators, it's a good time now with the lids to give the lids a really good clean to make sure as much light as possible is going to get through them. By the same token, things like the greenhouses and cold frames, get them scrubbed out. So I know there will be a few people who are starting to do some sowing in their greenhouses, so this will be relevant to them now to make sure, get those windows washed inside and out, make them as clear and clean as possible to let all that light through. With my cold frame, it is a bit grubby, and I may do it in the next couple of weeks, but I may actually just leave it until the end of March, because it'll carry on getting grubby over the winter with rain and mud splashes and what have you. And I actually don't use my cold frame until about the end of March, beginning of April, apart from the one little thing I'm going to sow today. Another job you can get on with is go through all your tools, give everything a really good clean. If it's things with moving parts, so like your secateurs, your shears, your edging shears, if like me you edge your parts, what have you, give all your moving parts a good clean, give everything a bit of an oil. Just take this opportunity now while it's, I don't want to say the Q word, but while it's quiet. Actually, I remember, and I'm sure any of you out there who have been in nursing or healthcare will know, the worst thing anyone can say when they come onto the ward is, oh, it's quite quiet today, isn't it? Don't say the Q word. If you say the Q word, all hell's going to break loose. But anyway, dare I say it, whilst the garden is the Q word, take the opportunity, look after your tools, look after all your pots and things, give your shed a bit of a sort and clean. And for me today, the shed's not in too bad a state. I think partly because I built in so much storage, so much very specific storage, it's been quite easy for me to put things away and keep things tidy. But it does get a bit, you know, messy from time to time, especially if I'm just sort of backwards and forwards in a hurry just to do harvesting. Things tend to get dumped. So it needs a bit of a tidy up today because this is so exciting. I need to take a photograph of the shed today to give to the editors at Grow Your Own magazine, because in the March issue I'm getting a little mention. I'm so excited. I'm so excited and so like bemused and bewildered and tickled and flattered. So yeah, apparently they really like my shed, so they'd like a photo of it to go in their March issue. I'm sure actually there's probably, sorry, this itchy nose, I'm sure I'm allergic to cats. I love them, but I'm allergic. Yeah, I'm sure there's loads of you who get the magazine, Grow Your Own, yay. I'm pretty sure there's loads of you who get it, because I quite often hear about all the wonderful seeds you're getting free each month with each issue. But if you don't know it, have a look. They've got a website. I think it's just very simply Grow Your Own. If you look up Grow Your Own magazine, if you Google it, it'll take you to their website. Loads of really useful little growing guides. There's forums on there for people to do Q&A, that sort of thing. So I'm excitedly looking forward to their March issue to see what they say about me. I hope it's nice. I'm sure it will be. So yes, another reason for me to sort my shed today. Also, I need to get out there soon. Hang on, I'm going to blow this nose because something's irritating it. Rusty, is it you? Is it you that makes my nose go itchy and runny every time I come in the shed? So, where are we? We're about the 15th or 16th of January, so we're about 10 or so days off the big garden birdwatch. So, here's my big garden birdwatch pack. I love this, look, this knitted pigeon, isn't that great? I was just thinking, I wonder if a knitted pigeon placed somewhere in the garden would stop the others coming, but maybe it would attract them. Anyway, so it's just a reminder that the Big Garden Birdwatch weekend is the 26th, 27th and 28th of January. If you haven't already got your pack and you want to take part, you've still got time. Just go online, put in RSPB. Actually, if you put in RSPB, that will be enough because it will take to their main website and then you can find it within that. Or you can put in Big Garden Birdwatch. There we go. And hopefully you can get your pack before the 26th. What you could do anyway in the meantime is just get yourself a little pad and pen ready in your shed or wherever you're going to do your bird watch, just to make a note. I'm looking forward to that, really looking forward to it. I haven't checked the weather. I don't know what on earth the weather's going to be doing that weekend, but all the bird feeders are topped up. You see, that's another job you could be getting on with. I try to do it monthly. Sometimes in the summer it might go to 6 or 8 weeks, but all the bird feeders give them a good scrubbing out. Mine were, I can't remember where I got them from, but they were cheap, and it's kind of showing because a lot of where the metal parts are rusting. It's very annoying, but never mind. They're clean, they're topped up, and obviously the birds are enjoying them thoroughly. So, did I have anything else I wanted to mention while we're still in the shed? I've got my little list. No, I think not. So, yeah, time to be getting on with all those little jobs that we ignore. Especially, like I say, if like me, you feel like you're on top of things in the garden. But looking out there now, I think I'd better jolly well get a wriggle on and start gathering these leaves up because it's pretty gloaming out there. Right, leaves first and then some seed sowing in the shed. Goodness me, just a few minutes later, bit of a tidy up, and ta-da! The shed looks brand new again, complete with Rusty, of course. You right, buddy? Yes, I've just basically put things away a bit. I've got so many little stashing places. Obviously the rack's still down because I've still got my corn up there. That could probably come home in the next couple of weeks, actually. Still got all my onions hanging around. But yeah, even just the difference of giving the floor a sweep, because it has been really muddy the last for the last sort of 3 months or so. And so this is what I mean about stashing and stacking. You wouldn't believe how much stuff I managed to pack into all my little shelf spaces here. So it may all look like a bit of a tight fit, but again, this is something you can think about over winter in your own shed. It was so well worth getting all these shelves in because, my goodness, it just helps me to be uber organised. So for instance, if I pull out, these are just propagator lids, but they're looking after pots. And because they're all stacked by size, it means I can stack loads and loads and loads and loads and loads more in. I know people are probably looking at this aghast at the amount of plastic, but virtually every single pot has been scrounged over the years. These are obviously all square ones. Yeah, you can see they've got labels on from shops, other people's labels. Whenever anyone chucks anything out on our share table in terms of pots and stuff, I just grab them. So yeah, it's a tiny space, obviously, but it just shows how much you can cram in if you do it kind of with a bit of tidiness and being organised. I've got some more right under the bottom here. You see under there, you probably can't see, those are like big sheets of cells that, again, someone was chucking out. So that's what I kind of tend to start my brassicas off in. Very useful. Oh, hello, little Rosie. Hello, little girl. She's so shy and nervous. Oh, you're actually going to come in today? Are we going to get a cuddle? And then, obviously, having all this neatly stashed under here means that generally I have got a bit of free worktop. Obviously, the important thing, the stove and kettle, which we know isn't working because it's too cold. But yeah, it just gives me a bit of space here to work on if it's raining outside, I want to get some seed sown or what have you. And then obviously these are my tins of seeds here. And then more shelving. Again, packing the shelves in right under the eaves means I've got a great space to store all my beans. Perfect temperature in the shed for them over winter. And then obviously, importantly, I've got all my jars of different types of teas and a few little kitty nibbles in that bit. But yeah, it's definitely my little home from home, and it is nice to just, it's just nice to get it a bit tidied and sorted today, because like I say, if there are rainy days, it's just great to have somewhere to come and sit that's not an absolute bomb site. There are times when I spend hours and hours and hours, just going backwards, hours and hours down here. So why not have it comfortable and homely? Why not have it somewhere pleasant to sit and eat if I'm actually doing my lunch down here as well? Why not have it as a lovely little retreat for those moments when it's a rainy day? And then in the summer when it's a sunny day, how lovely to be able to invite my friends down here to say, okay, I don't have a back garden, but come down here, let's have some cake and some scones and jam and what have you, and sometimes even a bottle of ale or something fizzy. So yeah, make the most of your shed space. Make it a palace. Can you see me in the gloaming? Oh my goodness, it's getting so dark out there. I don't know what time it is, it's only about noon, but my goodness, it's just creeping in and cloying, and I can feel a lot of moisture in the air. It's not raining, but it's really, really damp. So I've done some bits and bobs outside. Time to turn my attention before it starts really lashing with rain to some seed sowing. It's the only thing I'm going to sow in January, and it's the only thing I'm going to sow down here in the kitchen garden. The rest will be indoor sowings in about the middle of February and the middle of March back at my flat. So today, oh my goodness, I don't know why I bother, to be honest, but today I'm going to put some sweet peas in. I don't know why, but I just can't grow them for love nor money. It's ridiculous. I'm sure most of us have that one bogey plant we can't grow. I've got two, it seems, sweet peas and Brussels sprouts. I keep trying though, I keep trying. Now, both my sister and my mum grow fantastic sweet peas, and they kind of just chuck them in and that's it, and they're further north than me. Anyway, so I'm going to try two different ways today. I've been given some lovely seed from a friend, so I'm going to do half today and half in a couple of days' time. So I'm just going to tip you down so we can talk as I do. So one of the things I do know about sweet peas is they do not like their roots to be disturbed. So I'm going to start them off in loo roll holders. There we go. Yeah, just going to start them off in loo roll holders. This compost, sorry, my mind got distracted then. The compost I've put in them today is the dregs of some I had left over from last year. If you remember when I was potting on the geraniums from the garden to take home to overwinter. So I haven't got very much and it's a little bit dry. So what I will do is, once I've put them all in, I'm going to give this a jolly good soak, and then they're going to go into the cold frame. I'm actually going to do, I think, 5 per loo roll, which seems like a lot. It is a lot, but like I said, I don't really have much hope for them. So this thing of to chit or not to chit, I'm going to try both ways this year. Some growers chit, some don't. I'm hoping that if I try both, I'll get the best of both worlds. I'll at least get one of them to work. So they're quite a tough little dry seed. See if you can, I mean, you can probably get a sense of it from the noise they're making rolling around. They're like little teeny weeny bullets. So they are very dry. So some people like to soak to chit to begin with. However, in theory, once if I keep the compost good and moist, that should be enough for them to break out of their seed shell. We'll see. Oops, dropped one. Yeah, isn't it funny how we all have these a bogey plant? What's your bogey plant? What's the one thing you just can't seem to grow? And you know, it's funny, isn't it, that with bogey plants, there's a number of people on my site who just haven't been able to grow celery. Now, okay, last year mine was rubbish. That was, we think, because of a batch of bad compost where everything got killed off. But people say, oh, how do you grow it? And I just think, well, just chuck it in the soil. Prick them out when they're diddy, pot them on, harden them off, bring them down here, plant them. So yeah, it's kind of annoying when your bogey plant is one that everybody else seems to be able to do with absolutely no problems whatsoever. Right, I'll take those outside in a second, just top up with a bit of compost on the table so I'm not too messy in here. Then there is still a bit of water left in the water butt, so I'll give them a good soak, pop them in the cold frame. Actually, it's a good thing we are getting this rain this afternoon, supposedly, because my water butt's nearly empty. It's surprising. There have been a few things I've watered since sort of September, October. Now, for the chitting bit, everything I've read, they say put a piece of damp kitchen towel down and rest them on that. Well, I don't use kitchen towels, so I've just got this old serviette napkin. So what I'm thinking is this going to work? I don't know. If I just soak this, oh, that might be a bit too much. I can chuck off. I'll let it just soak into the serviette to start with. Actually, I better put a bit more in because it's going to wick up this end that's flapping out. And then quite simply, by the way, I've put a label in those other ones. I don't know what kind of sweet peas they are, but I've just popped a label in it to say that it's the non-chitted. So when these go in, it's another little handful, I'll give them a label to say that they're chitted, or I'll know what I mean by that. So all I'm going to do is sprinkle them over there. And hopefully over the next couple of days or so they'll swell up and the seed husky, you know, the outer coating will start to break down, and then I'll plant them just as I've planted the others today. So, oh my goody goodness, I'm going to say fingers crossed. I don't hold out much hope. Like I said, I went through this whole same process last year. I did both ways. I did the cold frame, I sowed later direct, I started some off at home. I just don't think sweet peas like me, but I'm going to stay optimistic this year. So, right, let's go and get some water on the other ones because that compost is really, really quite dry. Oh, chilly. Now, they should be perfectly happy in the cold frame. I'm going to put them in this end. This is the south end, most light. But apparently, they actually do well for a bit of cold. So, it's nice to sow a seed of some description. Fingers crossed they come to something. Ooh, let's get out of this chilly damp air. So I was just walking past my neighbour's pot on the way back to my shed, and I've noticed, look at her rhubarb. It's sprouting already. That's bonkers, it's far too early. But it just shows how mild it's been here. Well, through November and December we had a couple of sort of frosty nights, but otherwise it's been really, really mild, and that is bursting, absolutely bursting with new life. Isn't that a beautiful colour though to see in the middle of winter? Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, maybe I should have a poke around and see if mine's doing anything. Beautiful sight. It really isn't that cold here at the moment, but I think just that combination of, oh, it's so damp out there, and that wind cutting through, ooh, don't half feel chilly. So I think I've got a few little bits and bobs of jobs done today. I'll be back in a couple more days. Oh, I need to harvest before I go today. Mustn't forget to harvest. Always forget. Yeah, I'll be back in a couple more days. So just carry on with the leaf gathering, etc., etc. And when I get home now, oh, I've got a lovely food waiting for me. A couple of nights ago I made a massive pot of fasolada, which is my Greek bean stew, using up the last of my gigantes beans from last year. Stupidly though, I haven't checked up there, no, I think the beans I used for my supper the other night were the last of my gigantes saved ones, as in they should have been my seed for this year. So after I'd done it, I suddenly thought, where are my seeds for putting in the ground? Oh, you idiot, you've eaten them. So I've gone and done an order for some more from the Real Seed Company, who are great. And what I was absolutely astonished and delighted by was I did a few little bits and bobs of an order with them. And when it comes to paying the postage, which, you know, we all know, actually, let me just move around a sec. I was sitting at a bit of a weird angle then. Yeah, postage adds up on all these things, doesn't it? But the Real Seed Company, thank you. What a fantastic company you are. They offer a discounted postage rate for unwaged and low-waged gardeners. I don't think it matters how much you order. I'm not sure. I ordered quite a few bits from them, but for everything, my postage was 50 pence. Isn't that amazing? So massive, massive thumbs up to the Real Seed Company. Please get me some gigantes soon. So yeah, so I made my, so I've got a little plaster there to show for it. So making my fasolada the other night, chopping my potato, not paying attention, and went through the end of my finger. But it's still a little bit tender and throbby, but it's healing. It's getting much better now. I have to be mindful when I'm in the garden to keep it clean, which I will do. Anyway, so I don't know how I got into that. I'm digressing. Oh, I know. It's because on these damp, chilly days, what is more gorgeous to get home to than a hearty bowl of Greek stew, mopped up with a nice hunk of warm bread. Oh, can't wait, can't wait. Right, that's it. Enough of talking to you lot. I'm off home to eat. Yay! So, I'll say cheerio to you all for now. Have fun getting stuck into all those shed jobs, tool jobs, cleaning jobs, all those little bits and bobs you've been putting off for ages. Now is the perfect chance while the garden's asleep. So go on, crack on with it, get organised, get tidy, get yourself ready for a new growing year without going crazy because we can't sow any seeds yet, most of us. Okay, I'll see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, have fun, be nice to each other, and look after yourselves.